What is marine environment? Marine environment, also known as marine habitats, are habitats that support marine life. Marine life depends in some ways on the salt water that is in the sea. A habitat is an ecological environmental area inhabited by one or more living species. The marine environment supports many kinds of these habitats. What are the major sources of marine pollution and its impact hazard to human, animals, and shipping industries? In nature, there is no waste that does not decompose. Humans, however, have invented plastic, which will always be unnatural in the environment because of its properties. Making plastic is inexpensive and the application of the material are endless. Because plastic is so widely used, it almost ends up in the environment causing more plastic pollution. And not just because someone leaves a piece of plastic on the street instead of putting it in a waste bin. MARPOL, or the International Convention for Prevention of Pollution from Ships, is the main international convention covering prevention of pollution of the marine environment by ships from operational or accidental causes. The MARPOL Convention was adopted on November 2, 1973 at IMO. The Protocol of 1978 was adopted in response to a spate of tanker accidents in 1976 to 1977. As the 1973 MARPOL Convention had not yet entered into force, the 1978 MARPOL Protocol has absorbed the parent convention. The combined instrument entered into force on October 2, 1983. In 1997, a protocol was adopted to amend the convention and the new Annex 6 was added, which entered into force on May 19, 2005. MARPOL has been updated by amendments through the years. The convention includes regulations aimed at preventing and minimizing pollution from ships, both accidental pollution and that from routine operations, and currently included 6 technical annexes. Special areas with strict controls on operational discharges are included in most annexes. First, we have the Annex 1, which is regulation for the prevention of pollution by oil. It entered into force on October 2, 1983. Annex 1 covers prevention of pollution by oil from operational measures as well as from accidental discharges. The 1982 amendments to Annex 1 made it mandatory for new oil tankers to have double hulls and brought in a space in schedule for existing tankers to fit double hulls, which was subsequently revised in 2001 and 2003. Next, we have the Annex 2, which is regulation for the control of pollution by noxious liquid substances in bulk. It entered into force on October 2, 1983. The details the discharge criteria and measures for the control of pollution by noxious liquid substances carried in bulk. In any case, no discharge of residues containing noxious substances is permitted within 12 miles of the nearest land. Next, we have the Annex 3, which is prevention of pollution by harmful substances carried by sea in package form. It entered into force on July 1, 1992. Contains general requirements for the issuing of detailed standards on packing, marking, labeling, documentation, storage, quantity limitation, exemptions, and notifications. For the purpose of this annex, harmful substances are those substances which are identified as marine pollutants in the International Maritime Dangerous Goods Codes or IMDG code, or which meet the criteria in the appendix of Annex 3. Next, we have the Annex 4, prevention of pollution by sewage from ship. It entered into force on September 27, 2003. Contains requirements to control pollution of the sea by sewage. The discharge of sewage into sea is prohibited except when the ship has operation an approved sewage treatment plant or when the ship is discharging comminuted and disinfected sewage using an approved system at a distance of more than 3 nautical miles from the nearest land. Sewage is not comminuted or disinfected has to discharge at distance of more than 12 nautical miles from the nearest land. Next we have the Annex 5, which is prevention of pollution by garbage from ships. It entered into force in December 31, 1988. Deals with different types of garbage and specifies the distance from land and the manner in which they may be disposed of. The most important features of the annex is the complete ban imposed on the disposal into the sea of all form of plastics. Last we have the Annex 6, prevention of air pollution from ships. It entered into force on May 19, 2005. Sets limits on sulfur oxide and nitrogen oxide emissions from ships' exhaust and prohibits deliberate emissions of ozone depleting deliberate emission substances. Designated emission control areas set more stringent standards of SOx, NOx, and particular matter. A chapter adopted in 2011 covers mandatory technical and operational energy efficiency measures aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions from ships.